Karen Winchester did indeed put me the bird and turn right away as I was walking out the door. The only thing I could say was thank you. And I'm glad my wife brought that up because, you know, that is very unprofessional, and I've been dealing with this problem here for the township now for almost 4 years. In the very beginning, the first conversation I had with Miss Winchester, she said this is going to be a war of attrition. And it's been a war of attrition. Literally the power of the government and all the twistings through the judicial system, which is all in this brief by Rick Urvis. And if people in town read this, you'll know what you're really up against with this board and what they've been dealing with me for the last 4 years. And really, I'm surprised that the judicial system, too, played along with it as far as they have. And hopefully this will come to an end pretty quick. I know I got a court date coming up in the appellate court, so hopefully we'll let it set till then. If not, I guess we keep doing more meetings like this, but I was just as happy letting it set and letting it reach an end. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Collins?
Well, I was hoping tonight that after I saw the article in the newspaper that this board exempt themselves from paying the 20% on the health insurance and the request for numbers, I thought those were going to be brought up tonight. That's part of what I came down to hear. I'm a little confused as to why the board exempt themselves from this. It's my understanding that, according to the clerk, that they had done some work with their insurance to save that money, therefore they didn't feel that they needed to make it a payroll deduction. What I'm trying to understand is you, as elected officials, you're supposed to do the best job you can at managing the taxpayers' money. In doing so, whenever you find a savings, it's just that, it's doing your job. My wife's an administrator for a school district, and her job is to manage both on the state and federal level budgets for that school district. And in her job, she recently found where previous people had neglected some of the bookwork, and they found $274,000 that they were able to reclaim from the federal government. I know she didn't get a commission for doing that, she got an attaboy, but she didn't get any additional monies. And at that meeting, according to what I read, when the numbers were asked for, they weren't available. I'm trying to understand where the transparency in government is for that. I know that Supervisor Smith asked if it could be postponed, and the clerk said that no, it had to be voted on by the end of the year. This sounds like more things that are shoved in at the last minute when nobody's looking. And it was my understanding that those numbers were going to be available tonight. So I'm a little disappointed that that never came up.
Well, I can say as far as information, typically, when is the agenda first made available to the public?
Usually by the Friday before the Wednesday
We would
meeting.
encourage anyone to have questions about any of the issues to address them with Karen, and we will try to get the information to you. Frankly, of course, I'm the new kid on the block here. It had sat at the fire authority meeting the day before I actually became township supervisor. I didn't realize this was as big an issue as it's become.
Same with me. I would have had the numbers if somebody asked me for them prior to the meeting. I did not think I needed the...
I thought you were asking for I'm sorry, we have a turn.
Janet asked, and I did not have them. Nobody asked me. I didn't provide them. I provided the other documentation that I thought was necessary.
Okay. He has That's it.
I apologize, but I'm here also for the same reason. I just wanted to know figures because, again, we're spending buttloads of money on attorney fees. Anywhere we could save some money would be greatly appreciated. And those numbers were supposed to be, according to the newspaper, available today, I thought. That's one of the reasons I'm needing to see how much money we're going to be saving. So
it's already I mean, we do have, we'll be working on the 2013-2014 budget within a few months.
It just was rushed through so fast at the last meeting. I was not here, but the way it was rushed through, it just seems so underhanded, and then there was no numbers, and the figures were all going to come out at this meeting. That's the reason I'm at this meeting, was just to see the figures. I mean, there's, like I said, there's a lot of money going out for attorney fees, and we should be looking for money, ways to save money. And I don't care that you're not paying, really, I mean, if you don't have to pay your health insurance, that's great. It's a great benefit. The rest of the world has to pay it into their health insurance. If you don't have to, that's good for you. And if it's saving us money and you're not paying, that's even better, because that's your job, to save the taxpayers money. And if you found a way to do it, as somebody who worked for the government, and Alberts Patterson could even do it, and for me, you should let him know. I thought we were going to see these numbers, and that's one of the reasons I was here, because it looked so shady, and I didn't think you were shady, or would be doing anything shady. That's one of the reasons I showed up, to see the transparency, but I'm not seeing it.
As I stated, we're going to be working on the budget for next year soon, and all those things will be back on the table. And we do have a budget workshop that's open to the public, and I encourage people who have any concerns about costs related, healthcare costs, to make their opinions known as well. Or submit them to us now, we'll take them into account when we get there.
Well, and we're available all day. Anybody can come in during the day. I'll stay after if you can't come in before we close. I'd be happy to show you all the numbers. I mean, I have them, they're available.
Well, I just thought it was a good public meeting. I didn't really want to come in during the day after you've got other things to do, rather than show me what you're.
No, we
Well,
voted
I know
on it
that
last month and
I-
we didn't postpone it, so I didn't expect it to be on the agenda again, or I would have brought them.
In, most of you know, I have a business in town, I've been attorney here a long time in town. This office typically closes at 4 o'clock, but if I don't have a problem meeting somebody concerning township business in my office. I've met with people as late as 6:30 or 7 when I was supervisor before. So, I mean, we'll do what we can to be available for you, discuss the business for you. So if you can make it down here 9 to 4, we'll work it out with you. I think she had her hand up.
Or you got email.
Tiffany Golden, 404 Oakland Street. Seeing how it seems a lot of people are interested in these numbers, would it be difficult to just type up and how you set the agenda out for the next meeting? Would it be possible to have a breakdown of those numbers since they are available and we as taxpayers, would it be possible to have maybe just not 50 copies, but have a few copies just available at the next meeting so that way if people can't get in, just have them sitting there with the agenda, and then that way since you're going to be going into a new budget planning, we could see what was done the previous year, because if you're going in blind and don't have any, you're hearing 20%, you're hearing, oh, we saved, but you don't, but sometimes it's easier to visualize those numbers before you come into a planning meeting so you can have a background, because in my opinion, as a taxpayer, my money is limited too. And I know you guys are working on the same thing, and it's great that you saved some money somewhere, but I personally don't see anything wrong with saving even more money. You save money, great. Let's take the 20% too and save that extra money, is my opinion. There's no such thing as saving too much money. And today's economy, we're losing tax revenue left and right because people are moving out. And as the base dwindles, it would be nice to see actual physical figures. So if we could have those available at the next meeting, that would be fantastic.
Mr. Collins?
Well, I was going to ask what she did. If we could see the numbers so we could see the savings that is claimed to be made. And then the other question I have is, it's my understanding, and I ran for the Township Supervisor's office, that office was a part-time position while their positions are full-time. It's also my understanding that Blue Cross does not give insurance for part-time. I had no idea that position had health insurance. So I'm just trying to understand these numbers and the savings that we've all assured. And quite frankly, to the clerk, if a trustee asks for the numbers, I don't have them, but we're forced to vote tonight because there's a deadline, and then you turn around and say, but nobody asked me. It's a contradiction in terms, so it would be nice to see those numbers.
No, I would have provided them prior to the meeting if somebody didn't have enough information in their packet to make a decision.
But you just said you didn't provide them that night, and they
Nobody
were forced
asked
to make a
me.
decision.
Right. Unfortunately, that's true. It was, you had to have it by the beginning of the year. And it was brought to my attention that month. I mean, I was on the end of the month too. And I was in a rush and in a hurry, so. It's not pushing
Well, the budget's
anything.
gonna come back, this isn't something that's etched in stone for the next 3 years, 4 years, whatever. We're gonna be right back at it shortly with the budget, and we'll take a look at it, and if anybody, after seeing those figures, still has an issue with it, we'll certainly listen to them. All right, any other public comment? Yes, sir.
I do that again. It just occurred to me that I got a lot out of civics in high school because the high school students came in and videotaped these proceedings, and they made them available on the local public access. Anybody could watch, and there was no question of who said what, and it was expected. And it worked well.
Anyone else? Yes, Ms. Davidson?
Regarding the information, we really shouldn't have to ask Ms. Winchester. We should have them here for the public to get that information. We shouldn't have to make a separate trip for an individual thing like that. We should be prepared for everything that you have to offer us.
Because they really don't want 12,000 people coming here, honestly.
It's unfortunate I didn't bring those numbers. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I made a
I
mistake
didn't
by not
really
having
have
them.
any idea what it was gonna be
No.
this year.
And every
Especially since the
government's,
fire authority,
yeah.
so if you want to pinpoint it, then blame the rookie. Ms. Smith?
Maria Smith, 10 months out. I still would like that apology, my husband and I, but
I don't feel I owe you an apology because I did not do that.
your line statement.
No, I am not.
Well, all I can say about that.
But
I
I
don't
thought
want
I'd ask,
to. Give me something in writing.
well, I certainly will, I intend to
Okay, that's
follow
fine.
through.
Then I'll take a look at it. I'm not, the word supervisors, and I'm not her supervisor of all board members, but I'm certainly, I'll discuss it with her, and she can give you her response, and if you feel you have something you want to take to the prosecutor's office, I'll give you the phone number and tell you whatever you need to do. If I think there's something I need to do, I will do that as well.
Great.
Okay? Thank you. Anyone else? Well, thank everybody for coming out tonight. Public input is important, we appreciate it.